Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Body Performance Podcast. Today we are joined by our program specialist on Smart Body Performance, Ellie. So firstly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, my pleasure. I think it's been a long time coming. You've been on the program now with us for what, 2 months? Just over 2 months. So I think this is long overdue. But the whole point of this podcast today is just to kind of obviously introduce you as our female specialist on the program, who obviously works with a lot of the females in our program and absolutely crushes it with them. So this will just be a good opportunity for people to get to know you a little bit about your own fitness journey, which is, I don't think many people know about your fitness journey.
I don't think anyone expects it.
I think that's the right word for it, to be fair. I don't think anybody expects where you were to where you obviously are now. But we'll delve into it. But first things first, just before we do delve into it, let's touch there. I think that's a good place to start. Talk us through your fitness journey, because it's a bit of a whirlwind.
It is. God. So it started over 10 years ago. I was in my early 20s, like late teens, early 20s. And I was honestly just like a normal, young woman, young adult going about her life. I was getting into just normal lifestyle stuff like social nights out with friends. And I was terrified of the gym. And it was at the start of my fitness journey. Obviously, like I think hormones and puberty at that age, when you're growing into women, it's like, I'm realising what alcohol is. You're piling on the pounds. And I'm like, okay, clearly my metabolism's not great anymore. So, I had to get into the gym, and it was one of those things. I was terrified of the gym because I was so insecure because I let myself go. And I was obviously, I was more overweight, unhealthy. And I was like, right, I need to go to the gym. So I joined, it was the gym group actually. And, they're busy at the best of times.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Me going into the weight section, I was like, yeah, no, like that's not for me. So I literally would look at where the treadmill was. I'd go onto the treadmill in the gym and I would just sit on it for hours on end, and that's all I would do. Yeah. And I was like, right, I need to get a coach. And a PT approached me one day like they do on the gym floor. I was a sucker for it. I fell right in. And do you know what? It was great because I started to lose weight and build confidence, learn. And I really got into a routine and found a passion for fitness. But as I was going through that, I realized it's not easy, and I had to keep having the sessions. But there was one session where I had basically a palpitation attack. Wow. So my heart rate resting was 160.
160?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is insane. And I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. I've obviously just like overdone it and not really knowing. So I went home, went to bed. My heart rate was still 160. Woke up the next day and I was like, I think I'm just going to go get checked out. I'm all good. I'm just going to go pop to hospital, just get a once over.
To be sure,
I literally went into A&E like, guys, I've got a quite high heart rate. I literally got
seen. Just a random thing.
I got seen straight away, and they were like, did MRI, CT, ECG, like all the tests you could possibly do. And it came back that I had 2 blood clots on each lung, the size of golf balls. And the left side of my heart was enlarged, and they were like, how are you alive? It was just insane. And I was like, oh, God, it is serious. So they called my mum in and they were like, yeah, you've got a pulmonary embolism. So normally when you get a blood clot, for anyone that, doesn't know, it would normally start from the legs.
Yeah, of course.
That's why some people wear flight socks, right?
Yeah.
And it obviously just worked its way up to my heart and lungs. And I had 2 massive clots the size of golf balls, which is unimaginable, really, to think that you have
when you actually put it into perspective and you actually picture a golf ball, it's not like you're talking like an M&M or a Smartie, it's a goddamn golf ball.
So for a blood clot perspective, it's quite serious. So I had to be in hospital and intensive care for a few weeks. I was on blood thinners to the point that as soon as that happened, the palpitation attack, I couldn't walk to the other end of that table without needing an oxygen tank and collapsing.
Wow.
So I had to learn to breathe again, to walk again. So this is coming from someone that was trying to lose weight and get into the gym and
that
learn.
Curveball came for you. Yeah.
So, curveballs are curveballs. That was it. And, my recovery time, the doctor was like, you're never going to do a long haul flight. You won't be able to train for up to a year. And I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
So I drove. When I got out of hospital, I drove to the gym every day and I would walk for 5 minutes on the treadmill, and I would build that up till I could walk for over an hour, and then I did cardio, and then once I could do half an hour cardio, I got into weights training. Granted, medical professionals may say that was wrong, but I always feel like your body best.
Of course,
and that's what I did. And my coach stood by me through that, and I lost the weight. I lost 4 stone, which is
insane.
It's
incredible, yeah.
And I was like, right, I want to be a coach and help people the way that my coach helped me, because to go from that to achieving that and overcoming that, I was like, okay, I want to help people do this. Because if I can do it, they can do it. So then I moved to Australia.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you moved to Australia.
Yeah, I lived in Australia for a bit because I was like, screw it, I want to go to Australia. So I booked a flight. Obviously, that was fine. I did my fitness stuff out there. And then I came back and that's where like my fitness business kind of took off, really. Okay. And then I got into the world of competing.
Of course.
It was more fitness modeling rather than bodybuilding. But I saw these women who just looked so glamorous and it was all beauty pageant, and I was like, I would love to do that and say more for my own personal achievements that you know, I've gone from here and I've managed to step on stage at the O2 twice, and it was just incredible. And I've done photo shoots, and the people I have worked with and the lives I have changed from my own journey and people being inspired by it, it's just everything you could ask for. And here we are.
So I want to rewind because that's one hell of a journey.
Yeah,
so,
it's wild.
Absolutely. But if we were to take you right back.
Yeah.
If you were to say to the person on the treadmill for 5 minutes, building their way up, who's just had 2 blood clots the size of a golf ball, who was 4 stone heavier than you are now, that in X amount of years' time, you're going to step on stage in the O2 in a beauty and fitness competition.
Yeah.
Then you're going to become a coach. Like, what would you have said to that person that said that to you?
I just would have been like, absolutely no way. Bear in mind, I was so insecure because as you get bigger, like as women, you know, you get stretch marks, you get scars and imperfections, and your insecurities come into play. And realistically, like people let those insecurities stop you from doing things that you once dreamed of doing. And I kind of was like, you know, screw it. If they can do it, I can do it. And
absolutely,
I did it. So
yeah, that's amazing.
It's insane, but yeah, it's one hell of a journey, that's for sure.
What was going through your mind when you first, so before the blood clots now?
Yeah.
Because obviously when you started to get into the trim, I'm sure it's just as much for health as it was for aesthetics, right?
Yeah.
So before, when you decided to get into the gym, you was approached by a PT, what kind of made you go, yeah, do you know what? This whole idea of a coach is good. Or what made you want to go onto the treadmill over the weights? So what was kind of running through your head at that point?
Do you know what it was? I was terrified. Like, I even looked up on the gym website, you know, like where the treadmill was in the changing rooms. I was so scared because I thought it was that fear that everyone has. Like, everyone's looking at me. I don't know what I'm doing. I look stupid, or I just had no confidence. And I was so insecure in myself that even going into that environment was a cry for help in itself. So, you know, having to then look for a coach, I was kind of looking at the board, hoping something.
The PT board.
Yeah. And they were like, bingo, here she is. Like, honestly, I literally was like a deer in headlights. But you know what? It's the best thing I ever did. And as much as, you know, not a coach isn't for everyone. For me, being so lost in myself and, you know, being at such a critical point in my journey, actually, it was the best thing I could have done, getting help, because you don't realize you need help, or you like, unless you actually start, because people, there's so much bullshit advice out there, right?
To say the least.
Especially these days, fast forward 10 years with where social media is at, it wasn't that big back then.
Yeah.
You know, there is so much out there. And I think people, you know, there's all these gimmicks and trends and just shit, right?
It comes up so much when we have like a new member join the team, and we're obviously introducing them to yourself and the team and the way we work. One of the biggest issues they always have is, I just don't know what to do. This person's saying do that. That person's saying do this. Now this person's saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just lost. I'm so confused. And, you know, although social media wasn't where it is now, and it's even worse now than it was before, I can still imagine you're looking up at that PT board thinking, what do I say to them? Like, you know, do they come to me? Do I go to them? Like, this is confusing. This is overwhelming. Like, did you do a lot of research before you got a PT, or did you just walk in the gym and go, let's hope for the best?
Literally that one, let's hope for the best. I'm very much one of those people, I'll just wing it and I'll just
see
hope
what
for the
happens.
best. And, you know, it was great because actually my PT stood by me through my illness. And I think that's what really inspired me to be a coach, is that how you can have such an impact on someone's life. And I think for me, just knowing you've got that support, no matter what it is, because I think people think, oh yeah, it's training and a meal plan. It's so much more.
So much more.
So much more, because you are literally a life coach. Like, for any coach out there, you go through everything, relationships, their lifestyle, like everything. And then obviously the world, since lockdown, online coaching came about. That's where I was like, okay, we're going to move online. And, you know, that's where you realize you don't just help people that are local to you. There is a global scale that you can help people on.
Absolutely.
And it's insane. And you actually help them more because
100%.
you're keeping them accountable for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rather than 1 hour a week in the gym, beasting them.
That's exactly, and like you just say there, like, you know, you can literally work with people anywhere when you're online. Like, I mean, let's put it into perspective. So like, obviously within Smart Body Performance, with the clients of which you have now, you got Greece, Australia, Czech Republic, multiple states in the United States, multiple places up north, down south in the UK, right? Like you're kind of coaching everyone everywhere, which is amazing. But I think that's just obviously, you know, shows that a lot of people think, oh, the magic happens on the gym floor, when actually the magic happens outside, which is why this whole online coaching thing came to, because I think in lockdown, people realize, right, the only choice we have is to go online.
Yeah.
And I think before it's almost like, it's too good to be true. Like, I can't get a result if it's online. And then I think lockdown did prove that, holy shit.
Yeah.
If I have someone online, I mean, I can't see my PT in person. Like, that's how I done it online. Like, I was a PT for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and then we forced online. Everything had to go online. All of a sudden, the results the team members were getting was going through the roof. And I thought, maybe I'm missing a trick here. Why is everyone's results a million times better? And I realized the emphasis was heavier outside the gym than inside it, because 100%. It was online. So that's crazy, because it's exactly the same for me.
But do you know what's really interesting with that? People always think, they're always skeptical, aren't they, of an online coach? And they think, no, I'd rather have the motivation on the gym floor. Granted, I'd quite like the motivation every day too.
Yeah, of course.
But actually, you get more results and better results from having a coach that looks at every element of your journey, rather than like that 1 hour.
To transform. You know, like, you can go into the gym. It's like that saying, you can't out-train a bad diet, but it's I think it's more so you can't out-train a bad lifestyle.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Like, you can go to the gym and have a killer workout 5 times a week for an hour. Like, you physically left everything you had. Yeah. You're crawling out. You feel like you hit by the bus and you can't sit on the toilet seat. Like, wow, great workout, but you can still get no results.
Yeah.
Unless you have the lifestyle. Like, if you're still sleeping shit, you know, your nutrition's not looked after, you know, steps, stress regulation, energy management, everything isn't in a good place. Yeah. You're going to get 6 months in and think, what the fuck is the point? Like, why am I doing this whole thing? So I totally agree. But for those listening as well, I think this puts it into perspective. Everyone looks at a coach and thinks, you say all this stuff, it's easy for you because you're a coach, you love fitness. It's like, it's not how it started, especially for yourself. Like when you was forced on heavier, like for me as well, when I first got into the gym, this whole world was crazy. I didn't want to go to the gym when I started. The only reason I did was I was an athlete and I was too skinny. So I was super thin, really thin. And I wanted to be a professional football player, but every time I was on the football pitch, I was getting bullied off the ball all the time. I just get flicked and I go miles.
That breaks my heart.
So like I would...
You just turn up now like,
well, I can't run as much anymore. So I would go into like professional football clubs and go, you know, your IQ is great, you're a great player, you're technically gifted, you're just too weak. Like you're just too, especially when I was younger, when I was 14, 15, the academies that I was trying for, everyone was big. Like everyone was big. It's what they wanted at a young age. Football academies, they wanted big players. So I remember getting my first membership. My old man got me a membership for my like 16th birthday. He was like, Reece, you're too skinny, get to the gym. Like you kind of need to go. And to be fair, the best thing I've ever done, because I walked in and
tough love.
I needed it at the time. Like I didn't know what to do. So I had one of those gym inductions where the guy shows you how to work the machines.
How to do the chest press.
Yeah, absolutely. But I got so addicted to the feeling of confidence from the gym, because I didn't know I was unconfident until I went to the gym. And then that's when I realized I didn't actually know what confidence was. So I got to the point where I was like, I would only drink a certain color lid milk because I thought everything else was bad for me. This is the funny story for me was I used to get unflavored protein. So I used to think, I know. I used to think if I get cookies or cream flavor or brownie flavor, that's unhealthy. That's going to ruin all my progress. And I wish I had someone that I could coach at the time to go, why are you holding your nose and just backing down unflavored protein? Like you can have a bit of flavor. Like, so it got like 2-3 years in, I literally saw pretty much nothing. And then I was like, right, I need some help in. And that's when I got a coach as well and realized that the whole journey was a lot easier than I anticipated it to be.
Coaches need coaches, honestly.
Like, I will never not have one.
100%. You know what? I should probably get another one, to be fair. But
I mean, I've got one now. Look, work with Luke Miller he's from Texas. He's looking after my training and nutrition, because I feel like for me, I like to outsource and delegate that because I've got someone in my corner I don't want to let down. And it's not because I don't know what to do. And it's not because I can't get to the gym. It's
time.
It's the time. But also for me, I put myself on my own priority list last. So
100%.
I would always, for instance, if I go, I need to go gym today, but I kind of know he needs a call. I feel like it can benefit him. So I'm going to jump on a call with that person. Or I kind of feel like there's a hole I want to plug from a business perspective. I'm going to focus on career.
Yeah.
I would put the gym last on my priority list because I wanted to work on things that are helping our team members and helping us grow and so forth. So I get a coach so they can go, what the fuck are you doing? You get to the gym, like, short-term thinking equals short-term results. You don't go to the gym, you're going to feel like shit in a couple of weeks and you won't get anything else done. So for me, the accountability is massive. I need the accountability. I need it.
To be fair, I do. I was literally like that on Monday. I literally said to my partner, Bav, I was like, he wanted to go to the gym and spa in the evening. I was like, I can't got work to do. I wanted to go, but I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'll do this. But it's one of those things, like having that accountability, even as coaches, I think it is life-changing, even at this point, 10 plus years on in your journey. 100%. Like, you always need someone.
And I think, like you said there, like, you have your partner there to hold you accountable as well. Like, having someone in, like, your close proximity to hold you accountable, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So it don't always have to be a coach. If you've got your partner, if you've got a friend that's kind of holding you accountable, as long as you've got someone in your corner you don't want to let down, that is powerful enough.
100%.
But then if you can partner that with a coach as well, it's like, fucking
you're unstoppable. Like, let's
go. You're literally at the same time. You're literally unstoppable. So I'm curious to know, because you obviously have, like your own journey, you had your own kind of fitness thing. What made you want to join us at Smart Body Performance?
I obviously knew from previous jobs and stuff, and I think just seeing how much you've grown in your business and how the community that you've created and what you stand for me, it's working within a coaching business company service that actually stands for what I believe in. And 100%. I think it's such a big industry. Like, the industry is so vast, it's so diverse, 100%. And there's so many coaches. Everyone you speak to is just qualified as a coach. And I think it's just finding people that are genuine coaches, genuinely care about their clients and get them results. And I think for me, it's like, I want to be a part of that, and I want to have something where I can make an impact, because I back myself as a coach, know I can get results. Right. And I think, it's just finding someone that you can work with, that you can help them get results, and you bring something to the table. And I think with Smart Body and Performance, that was it. Yeah,
I think you touched on a really important word for us there as community as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, results and transformations are bread and butter. Like, you come to the program, you're getting results. It's what we do. I mean, we even have a guarantee in the program which says if you don't, your entire investment gets refunded. We have it in writing. Like, that's how confident we are in the results. But for me, such a big part of this is community.
Yeah.
Like, we have it so, like, people get to the end of a program or they're within the program going, I've kind of got friends for life now within this program. Yeah. Like, I've never really, they come to live events, they might meet them, but it's a lot of times I've never actually seen this person, but freaking love them. They're cool. Like, we've got so much in common. Like, we've had it where members have created their own group chats. They've gone out for a dinner together. Like, and I remember a couple of weeks ago, I had it on check-in. It was like, it was a client of mine. He goes, I went out with for dinner with Benny. They went, that's pretty cool. Like,
it's so
why?
Good.
It's like, he was calling each other stuff over the community when he was posting and I was posting there. And, we just started chatting over Instagram. When he put a story up, I replied to it, vice versa. And then we thought, fuck it, just go out for some food. I thought, that's pretty cool. Because you're kind of creating those friendship groups with like-minded people. Because everyone in the group is, and we only, take on a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And they have to be obviously very kind of the normal stuff. Like, we have like a code, which is obviously be kind and welcoming to everyone else in the group. And if you've kind of got that about you and you're inside the group and everyone else is, you've got so much in common already. So straight 100%. Away, people just click.
Yeah.
How important do you think community is for somebody's transformation journey?
I think it's everything, because you know what, and something that I didn't have, I obviously found that during my journey, but at the beginning I didn't have it, and it's having that support system. Having people that, because your family and friends or partner, they may not get, oh, you don't need to diet, you're already skinny enough, or you don't need to lose weight, you're fine, you're obsessed, it's boring, why don't you want to have a drink?
If I had £1 for every time I've heard that.
On it, I could go on, right, but we don't have time.
We'll be here for hours.
We don't have time. The point is having that support system and a place where you feel you belong, you feel, heard, and you feel secure and safe, and have, like, you can share your passion for fitness, without being judged. And I didn't have that at the beginning, obviously, but then I found that within a team, and that's what inspired me to want to create that, and that's what inspired me to want to have that myself. And I think a lot of people don't realize how important support system is.
Absolutely.
And within the community of Smart Body and Performance, like, you have that
100%.
And I think it's little things like sharing your recipe ideas, or someone's having a bad day, like, it's okay. Like, we all have them.
It's the little things, like we had Abby post the other day. It's just a picture of her child in the pram with her dog going, rain or shine, getting the steps in. And it's just little things like that. Someone else looking at it going, I was
shit,
looking at
I
rain
need to
thinking
go.
I ain't going. Fucking maybe I should as well. Like, it's
Yeah.
just those, sometimes it just takes something so small.
Yeah.
Someone to have a little bit of a light bulb and go, yeah, fucking, all right, I'll go. Like,
Yeah.
I've got it. I saw Abby doing. She's doing it. Oh, what's my excuse? So
but
that's
that
really
is
interesting.
It's support system, and I think not many people have that, and I think it's really sad because I wish everyone could have it, you know, because that's the difference between you actually achieving your goals and not, because there are going to be days, and because your journeys, it's not linear. You're not going to be showing up every day. And the days where you struggle, you need that support to pick you up and help you get there. Having a coach is great, but you know, you need more than that. You need other people who are like, may not be us, but are going through the same journey as them. And it's relatable, right?
100%.
So it's finding that.
I couldn't agree with you more. And kind of, you know, going back to obviously yourself joining, I still remember when we had our very first chat, obviously over Zoom, like right at the beginning. And when we kind of pushed out for this coach role, obviously with this, you know, transformations that, you know, the company was getting, like, obviously got a lot of traction. So when we was looking for a coach, we had over 100 applicants at the time. And I remember as soon as I jumped off the chat with you, I was like, I kind of know where we're taking this now. Like, she fits the role of what we're looking for to an absolute T. It's the level of you're not gonna get fit out of that door. The head's gone massive. No, but it was for me the thing that most, like, the boxes for me was, you have to be able to get results.
Yeah.
You have to have a portfolio of transformations. You have to know what you're doing. You have to get results. Tick. And it was like just being super relatable as well. Like, we didn't want somebody who just eats chicken, broccoli, and rice 47 times a day, goes to the gym for 12 hours, don't have a social life. Like, fair enough, that's you, great, but
if that's your jam, that's cool.
Absolutely,
but I like a cookie and a pizza.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's quite funny actually. Earlier on, before we went for a workout to the podcast studio, we went out for lunch, and the first conversation was actually about favorite cocktails.
Oh my God, hilarious.
You know, yeah. So Ellie was talking about our favorite cocktails. Alex behind the camera was just having a conversation. We thought, you've literally just got in. We've just talking about cocktails the whole time. Alex had a pint in his
spicy mug for anyone listening, or a porn star martini.
Actually, I'll share a gem while I said it. If you haven't tried a Dirty Shirley, you're missing out. It's grenadine, lemonade, and rum. Tried it in the Caribbean for the first time, and I've never looked back.
Baby Guinness.
Yeah, we spoke about that. You see Alex laughing behind the camera. Yeah. Mango margarita. Hey, that's it. Alex said a mango margaritas, apparently. I actually haven't tried one. So if you're watching this on the YouTube, comment below your favourite cocktail.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if your biggest takeaway isn't nothing to do with fitness, is to try a new set of cocktails.
Do you know what? It's balance.
It is balance, you know, and I think, and we spoke about this in the gym today as well. It's like, you ask the question where it's like, you know, all these dietitians, practitioners, doctors, they always say you shouldn't eat non-processed foods. You have to be perfect. You can't have alcohol and so forth. And it's like, kind of, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
And for me, the first thing I said is, you can always smell the difference between someone who is like a dietitian or a researcher or a doctor that has done all the studies, all the research, and got all the medications, but has never worked with someone in person.
Yeah.
Never actually worked hands-on. And we've coached over 1,000 members in Smart Body Informant. So we see hands-on that things that work in theory and things that work in practice are two completely different things.
100%.
In theory, being perfect and having non-processed foods and, you know, cutting out all takeaways or alcohol or anything that's not absolutely pure is great. But how great is it if you want to do it for 3 months?
Yeah.
If you have to, let's say, for instance, have an 80-20 rule where 20% of your food isn't perfect, but you can keep that for 25 years, what's better? The one that's not always perfect for 25 years, one that's perfect for 3 months.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's like short-term thinking equals short-term results. And I think that's a huge takeaway that a lot of our members come on board and actually go, wait a minute, so I can actually still eat that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so I'm going out for a drink and you're saying, enjoy yourself, just do this calorie banking strategy, but have a good... Wait, so I can drink? And you're like, yeah,
do you know
this
what
is
the
how
best
it
one
works.
is? They're like, I can eat on the all-inclusive holiday? I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, you can.
No, you go on holiday, you're not allowed to eat at all. You got to take your chicken, broccoli, and rice with you in a suitcase.
Your Tupperware, weigh your oats out, eat your broccoli.
If you don't have your weighing scale, you just don't want it enough.
Yeah, you're a failure. Like, get back on the plane.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And I think that's why our members... Right, mate?
Sorry.
It's fine, just throw it all over the shop.
Yeah, on your head. I think that's why our members get such good results, because they realise they can stick to it long term.
Yeah.
You know, like, because the thing is as well, you'll end up rebelling against the program. So, for instance, I've had this myself, and I did it just to kind of, you know, I think a big thing about coaching is transparency. Like, I will never lie online. So this time last year, I done a diet. I done like basically, I said to my coach, I want to go to town with it. I know it's not sustainable, but for me, I want a challenge. Like, I want to push my body to the absolute limits. I know it's not extremely healthy for me physically.
Yeah.
But mentally, I want to be able to see how far I can go so I can prove to myself on the other end, if I can achieve this, I can do anything.
Yeah,
I want to see how much I'm capable of. I can take that into career. I can take that into my mindset and so on and so forth. So I got extremely lean, like the leanest I've ever been. I couldn't even pinch any fat on me. After I built up a bad relationship with food, really, 'cause I was restrictive as well. Like, I wouldn't go out. I would eat fucking from Tupperware all the time. But I just wanted to prove to myself I could do it, and I just wanted to do it once. But me and my partner, we went to Italy just after I finished, and I binged so bad. I gained 7 kilos of body fat after. So like I gained the next day, I had like 7 kilos gained pretty much straight away. But then like the scale balanced out. Great effort. But then when I came back from Italy, I realized this was about 3 weeks after my weight had completely stabilized 7 kilos heavier. So it was no longer, so it went up to about like 13 kilos heavier, but came down and stabilized at 7 kilos heavier than shoot day, which was always going to happen because I'm going to retain a lot of water. So I reckon I retained about 3-4 liters or maybe 3 or so kilo of water, but 4 or 5 kilos of pure body fat. But I was having cake, like at breakfast, there was this like, you know, you'll go out, there's almost like a breakfast included kind of thing. They had these like banana and chocolate, almost like cake things. I don't know, they do it weird in Italy. I felt embarrassed to get too much. So I would take 2 slices. I'd ask my missus to go up and get another 2, and then I would usually go up and get another 1. It was so bad. But I can be transparent with that because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been to the point where I'll eat whatever, it don't matter. I play football all the time, so I'm going to burn it off. I've been to the point where I'm super restrictive. And now I found myself in the middle where I've got a perfect balance where I can enjoy myself, I can manage lifestyle, I can eat the foods I enjoy, and I can stay in shape. And I will never, ever veer away from where I'm at right now because I've never felt so good in my life.
Do you know what? I had that when I obviously was in my fitness modeling days, and I say days, it was like 2 years ago. But the point when I did the prep, you know, you're restricted for so long. It's not as strict as bodybuilding, but you're still in a very strong deficit, you know, and you're getting down so low, it's not sustainable, right?
Absolutely.
And you are restricted from everything, all the good stuff, closer you get to show. And then you do the show and it's great, but then as soon as you step off stage, it's like the floodgates have opened. And you eat everything in sight. Like if I did documentary,
food focus is insanely high.
It's disgusting. What I ate cookies. I had a cookie pizza to myself.
I did the same thing.
I had
after.
a Five Guys. I smashed food like food was going to expire in a day. And I ate it all.
I was exactly the same.
And I put the weight on. Like my first show, I put so much weight on after because I had such a bad relationship with food, and it took me a lot of time educating myself and building that relationship with food again. And then when I went into my next show, coming out of it, I was a lot smarter. And your reverse diet is so hard, even after a photo shoot prep or a show, whatever it is, you have to focus on the reverse diet
100%,
because it's actually harder than the prep itself.
Absolutely. So for those listening and who's thinking reverse diet, what the hell? So what a reverse diet is when you're at your leanest point, you're most vulnerable to gain all your body fat back. And you probably have seen the statistic that 92% of diets fail, which is obviously outrageous. So one of the reasons is because people don't know how to sustain it. They haven't gained the education, but also your fat cells are so vulnerable. So you have to have a reverse diet, which is where you take yourself from a deficit and slowly and incrementally take yourself towards maintenance over a matter of weeks, and then into a surplus where you can gain muscle, shape, and performance and so forth. But you have to be really particular about managing your body weight, making sure it's not super spiking, or your digestion, so you're not kind of, you know, feeling super bloated, and also making sure your progress photos, you're not gaining too much body fat. So what you would do is add 100 to 200 calories each week, slowly bring yourself to maintenance where your body weight has kind of flatlined, which is the healthiest place for a human body to be, which is why you want to stay there for a couple of weeks after a diet. So when we're talking about reverse diet, we're basically saying none of us done that. So when we finish the shoot,
we're basically saying we're rubbish.
We went crazy with it, but we wish, like in hindsight, everything's beautiful in hindsight. Of course, I wish I reversed dieted, but I also am somewhat glad it happened because although I knew the answers prior, you learn best through experience,
you
right?
learn the lessons.
So, and to be honest, for me, I didn't mind gaining the body fat. I was too thin. Like I looked malnourished. It was disgusting. My face was like
you can never unsee it though. When you get that small, you look at yourself so differently. You have to realise it's not sustainable. Like an everyday physique versus shoot day, show day, whatever it is, you know, they're completely different.
I didn't like the way I looked.
No.
I was way too thin. Like
way too much, and you look gaunt, don't you? In the fact it's not you personally, but like in general.
I did. My miss was like, I really don't find you attractive like this. She said it in a funny way because we can banter like that, but my face was so slim. Like I don't know if you remember, Alex. We had a shoot day. And about 3 or 4 days before, Alex came over to my place. We just filmed a couple of my member education videos. How, like, do you remember how thin?
I was on the photo shoot, wasn't I?
Yeah, you was there, but yeah, of course you was. Do you remember literally a couple of days before we was doing those videos in my house at I was gonna say where I live then. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so we was doing those videos, but I was looking back at the videos the other day. It comes up like a year ago today, and it's kind of approaching. So I looked back at the videos, and my face, I looked like a mouse. It was so like I didn't have cheeks. I didn't have cheeks. It was just ear, mouth. Like it was like there's nothing in between.
Very skinny.
Oh mate, it was horrible. I turned sideways, you couldn't see me. But like, and for some people that's a goal, and that's fine. But for me, I didn't like it. Like, you know, honestly, like I hug you, and there's nothing there. It's like, and for me, I didn't like it. But I'm glad I'd done it for the experience.
100%.
But then even coming on the back end of it, like a everyday walk around physique, I love in comparison to where I was.
100%.
I just didn't feel good. But through experience, you realise it. And now you know what you like and what you don't. So I can kind of take that into...
I've been on all ends of it. And I think, you know what, a big take from this is that actually for clients that are dieting down for whatever goal it is, I think stick with your coach after you hit that goal. Because a lot of people, they're like, they've hit the goal and they're like, okay, cool, job done, I'll leave. No, you need to be with that coach through your maintenance to sustain it and learn, because it's not
100%.
easy. You may do it for a week or two, but trust me, there'll come a point where you just... shit goes up the wall basically, and you've crashed and lost all the hard work.
Do you know what? It's so funny you say that. I'm actually going to get off my phone right now. I had a message literally 2 or 3 days ago from one of our past members called Scott.
Yeah.
He's a nurse, 54 years old, trains out of his garage with resistance bands, and he works like 4 days on, 4 days off, sometimes nights, sometimes days. And he sent me a message. I'm just going to get it up here and I'm going to point it towards the camera. It's like, hey mate, how are you? Just wanted to give you some feedback 1 year on. So pleased with everything you set me up with, and it helps with present or potential clients, and please feel free to use this. 1 year on from finishing my program with Reese, still buzzing. Not only do I feel good about myself, because he's blowing smoke on my house. I'm not making this up, I promise. Resetting my program, I'm able to maintain my achievable lifestyle. It's my 55th. In my 55th year, I'm so pleased with the way I look, but more importantly, the way I feel about myself. I'm still maintaining a 32-inch waist, was 36 pre-Reese in medium clothes. And although I'm not quite defined as when I finished, I couldn't be happier because I'm still so much leaner than I was before. So he lost about 13 kilos in the program. Wow. Thanks, mate. That says it all. So then he sent a photo of him. So for watching on the YouTube, this is the photo and the message that Scott sent me over. And it just highlighted how big this whole, like what we do here and the reason why we do it is messages like that. I fucking got goosebumps talking about that. Messages like that, it's like, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
Because so many people like go to Slimming World and Weight Watchers, and then as soon as they finish, they're straight back to square one. And
how many times do they enter Slimming World and Weight Watchers? I'm going back to Slimming World next. I'm joining Slimming World and Weight Watchers next. My mum did it. She was thinking, sorry, mum. She was a culprit. But it's the thing, because that's all you think of. You got the logbook and you got your sins. Their sins are mad, by the way, what they class as a
does
sin.
My nutting. It's actually quite funny. Mum has done the same thing. She's working with you now. So I'll put my mum with Ellie to... Yeah, she's
actually a great client.
I'm proud of her. I'm really proud of her. But again, like, you know, you can't blame people who do, because it's all they know,
exactly.
Right?
It's education on it. And when there's so much advice out there, it seems like the easiest go-to. Like, oh, I should do that. It's easy. It's there. But actually, like, it's doing more damage than good.
So much more. Like, we had a client, Becky, people listening may have seen her on our social media. For 10 years, she worked with dietitian, personal trainers, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, spent thousands of pounds, like nothing works. She was on the call, she was so adamant. I was like, look, unless you defy science, something works, let's figure it out. And she was like, no, honestly, nothing's working. But she worked with her friend, Brooke, who was on the program, and said, look, I just saw that and I thought, this is my last resort. 29 pounds in 16 weeks.
Wow.
From just having the right route in place. And you know, the reason I share that as well is because sometimes it almost seems too good to be true. But then when you see actually these people in the program aren't just freaking athletes. They're not like people who just sprint around the gym 24/7.
Gym goers.
Yeah, training for 18 years and they come round for a transformation journey. Like it doesn't work like that. So while we're on this topic, what would you say is some of the biggest mistakes people make on their transformation journey?
Oh,
I know this is, again, a long old list. There's a couple I've got that I think the biggest one for me is yo-yo dieting, unsustainable diets.
I've done them all. The keto diet is a classic.
Sake,
it's when people are like, I can't have bread, cheese and chocolate. I was one of those people. I've actually done it all where I've done the juice diet. I think I had like soups or juice every day.
Yeah.
Awful.
I couldn't think of anything worse.
I actually now like can't have soup properly because I'm like, it's giving me PTSD. But like even cutting carbs, like I can't have bread, I can't have this. You can actually have, in theory, anything you want in moderation.
If you look at science, yes.
Yeah. Like from that perspective, you can.
Again,
Obviously,
I think
there's a lot more that goes 100%.
To it. I think for those listening, like, yes, granted you can, but you will feel like absolute shit if you're not healthy. Like, you will, and your muscle will be deteriorated. So you can drop body fat based on science. However, you're probably not going to want to do it.
Exactly. So there's a way of doing it, but like, you know, that whole like 80% whole foods, 20% soul food, like there's so many different things. And I think it's just finding actually what works for you and what you can sustain, because some people can sustain, you know, eating chicken, rice and broccoli, having that really hardcore meal prep and following a plan. But then some people actually, they want to just eat normal foods, have the fakeaways, which 100%. Is, it's not like you got to go have a Domino's, but you can have a homemade pizza that's healthier.
Absolutely.
And you're like still within your calories.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, like you say, like one thing that we always do is we have like an in-depth nutrition analysis for new members who join the team.
Yeah.
Because I can say this nutrition tactic is the best.
Yeah.
Might not be for Sarah. Might be for Lucy. Might not be for Sarah. Like for me, for instance, I saw a thing and I created our Mark Zuckerberg method. So I called it our Zuckerberg method.
Yeah.
But I saw something from Mark Zuckerberg and he says he wears the same. Well, I say the same. He wears a pair of blue jeans and a white t-shirt every day to work. He's got like 5-6 pairs of them. He just rotates throughout the week, but it just removes decision fatigue and it's one less things to think about.
Yeah.
I thought, ding ding, here's an idea. Why don't I do this in nutrition? For me, it works because during the day, I don't want decision fatigue. I don't want to think about anything else. I want to think about what I have to do that day. How can I be most productive? How can I work out? How can I have enough downtime and just enjoy myself and have a productive day? I don't want to have to think about nutrition. I just want it on complete autopilot.
100%.
So, assuming I have similar foods each day.
Yeah.
It could be boring for some.
But if you just need to have those nutrients in your body, because a lot of people do a lot if it fits your calories. Like a lot of like macro track, like calorie tracking, right? As long as it fits my calories, like essentially there is an element of that. But actually, if you're not getting the nutrients your body needs, your body's just going to store everything.
100%.
You need the nutrients in order to burn the fat, to build the muscle.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think people need to be more educated on protein, fats, and carbs, and having good quality food sources.
Absolutely.
And that's why whole food is so important. But another thing actually that just came to my head of mistakes people make is, you know, I get so many women that are like, I want to be toned, I don't want to be muscly, and they think, right, I just need to go do cardio in the gym and I'll lose the weight and look toned. But actually, like, you need to build muscle in the gym to look toned.
100%. You can't sculpt a pebble.
Yeah.
Like you like a lot of the women that come to us, they want to, they more or less want an hourglass tone physique. They want to go to the beach, wear a bikini, have glutes, thin waist, abs,
pancaked peach.
Yeah, pancaked peach, exactly that. We actually spoke about it today. Like, don't get me wrong, that's not for everyone. And I think most people that think it's not for them is because they don't know if they have it in them to get there.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you break down milestones, you get to one milestone and then set the next. Like, you know, the goal isn't to drop 50 pounds, it's to drop 1 pound 50 times. So some people just don't want a perfect bikini body. Some people do, but either way, the most people that we work with want their own version of that. They want to feel comfortable in a bikini, on a beach, on holiday, or for the lads, they want to wear a pair of swimming trunks on the beach and just feel good. They don't have to be shredded.
And I don't think there's an image that is picture perfect. It's how you feel in yourself. It's different.
Absolutely.
But don't you think it's so different back in the day when like skinny and like looking like gaunt?
And some people do want it. Some people want it, and that's fair enough. Like, for me, if someone goes, this is my goal, I'm not going to go, that's wrong. You know,
it's perspective of what you think, you know, how you feel and how you want to look.
If someone goes, I want to be skinny bone, cool. That's you. That's fair. Who am I to tell you you're not allowed to look how 100%. You want to look?
There's no picture perfect thing being like, this is how you're going to look.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, you train and we can take you on this journey. But, you know, if you get to a point, some people say, oh yeah, I want to lose 4 stone. What does that look like to you? Because it's how you feel in yourself.
100%. So
it's not letting the scale weight determine your worth either. And I think that's 100%. A lot of mistakes people make when they start out.
Yeah, I think it's, I think that's one of the values in coaching. And another thing to spoke about today, to be fair as well, is if you can look at things logistically and take out the emotion, that's great. But here's the kicker. Most people can't take out the emotion, which is where a coach comes into play. Most people step on the scales and go, oh my God, I've gained a pound, the world's coming to the end. But then a coach can take it from a logistical perspective and go, okay, let's look at this. You've just joined. We've had creatine monohydrate. It's going to retain a little bit more body water in your body, which we're using for better performance. That's water weight, not body fat. That's probably going to increase weight a little bit. We've introduced a little bit more carbohydrates, give you more energy for your training. That's going to retain a bit more water as well. Okay. We've added a lot more heavier, you know, or more strategic style of training to your lifestyle. Adding stress to the body, increasing cortisol, probably retain a little bit more water. If I'm honest, you've probably actually dropped body fat this week. You've just got a lot more water weight that you're holding on to because of these factors. And then they can turn around and go, okay, cool. I get it. I understand. I'm educated now. So that pound isn't as bad as I was worrying about. Because I understand the difference. But if you can't remove the emotion for logic, you need someone in your corner who can do that.
Yeah, and it's merely data for the coaches just to
It's
help
just
assess
data,
your progress. But a more positive way for people out there of measuring your progress is actually, take your progress photos every week so that you can see how your body composition's training. Log, your training sessions, which is what we do within our coaching, so we can see your progression in the gym, how you're getting stronger, how your clothes fit on you. There are so many other ways that you can determine your progress rather than, focusing on the number on the scales.
Absolutely. And I can agree with you more. And I think that's the thing that where people look at the bigger picture. So it's not just kind of looking at this whole world of health and fitness as I just need to drop 2 pounds on a scale, then I'm happy. It's like, if you drop X amount on the scales, what's that going to mean? Or if you change your physique and you feel like this, right? What's that going to mean to the rest of your life? So like, for instance, I'll use an example. Charlie, he went from a 48-inch waist down to a 32. A 46-inch waist down to a 32. But for him, he looks great. He's a lot more healthier. Then he ran a half marathon. And to him, he was like, if you told me I was running a half marathon 6 months ago, my knees would be busted, my ankles busted, and there's no way in a million years.
That's amazing.
But he didn't look at his stakes. He said, it actually means more to me running a half marathon. I didn't think I'd ever have the fitness to do it. And it's like, okay, now you've got that. How do you feel going to social events? Like if someone's looking and going, right, I want to find a partner, right? If you get in amazing shape and you feel great in yourself, you go to whatever way you'd like to find yourself a partner. How much more comfortable and confident are you going to feel to go and put yourself out there?
You hold yourself differently.
And
that's attractive in itself.
100%, yeah. And I think the biggest one is obviously as parents as well. Like when you're setting that standard and being a role model to your children, when you're able to run around with your kids again.
I've got such a big one for that, and I did a reel on it. So a lot of people say, I haven't got kids, but would love them one day. But a lot of people say I die for my kids. Right? It's a classic. Right? I die for my kids. I get it.
Exactly. I love this. Yeah.
But would you get healthy for them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you get fit for them?
Yeah.
And that is the turning point for parents.
100%.
Would you really, honestly? Because if you wouldn't. What role model you like?
I'll stand in front of a train for him, but not a dumbbell.
Literally, but you kind of got to think like you are a role model to your children. They are who you look up to for the journey. And if you won't get healthy for your kids, essentially, who are they else? What will happen?
And I think I always chuck like statistics and stuff out, and without just shoving like and just saying it to sound big-headed, but into like education for our program, I spent over 100,000 for learning and education and trips to listen to people talk. One I went to in there was a seminar in Vegas I went to, and there's a woman called Annie Yutch who was speaking, and she's a trauma specialist. So she basically works with people with she's like a therapist with people with deep severe trauma. And she works primarily with children and parents and like that kind of relationship. So she was saying that it was either 93 or 97% of what children intake between the ages of 9 and 11 is all subconscious. So they're subconsciously watching what their parents are doing and then taking that in for their own. So if their parents are not, or they're hiding in photos because they're too nervous to get in front of the camera, they're now thinking, I shouldn't be taking photos. It's not a good thing. If their parents are trying on 18 different pieces of clothing before going out for dinner, they're thinking and programming themselves, I can't feel comfortable in clothes that I wear. If their parents are, taking the elevator because they're too tired to walk up the stairs, their kids are programmed to now take the elevator. Or too lazy, absolutely. They say 2% of people only take the stairs, which is in airports, which is incredible. I've got so many stats. But anyway, like the children take this in subconsciously. So what people don't understand is what you're doing, whether that's for your children now or your future children. Or your future children. So like, I know the work that I'm putting in now is for my future kids. Right? Like me working on me working on career and so forth. When I started, I'm doing it for me. This is a new thing. Now I'm doing it for fucking little Jessie who pops out in X amount of years' time. Like,
this
it's
is
always
why
looking
I
at the
park
bigger
in the
picture.
furthest space away from the shops. So, I'm doing it for my future kids.
Yeah, I used to do that. I know I park right outside it. Right outside it. Yeah, no, but
love that.
Yeah, it's just the bigger picture for everything. And I think, we could probably go off on a massive tangent with that, but give us a little bit more just about you, right? Just to kind of come towards the end of this podcast. Like, what could people kind of learn about you? So I want to look beyond fitness. I want to look beyond coaching. And, so we touched on why you decided to, come all in and be exclusive within Smart Performance. We touched on your own fitness journey. You know, we touched on mistakes that people make and why it's so important from a fitness perspective. But for those listening, tell us a little bit about you. What's your hobbies?
God, I'm going to sound so boring now. Pressure. Don't you think that's a really pressurizing
It's
question?
a very pressurizing question. I said I'll chuck at least one curveball in there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Do you know what? My biggest thing actually outside the gym, which I love, the gym is, you know, probably a big part of my life. It's
of course
my work. It's obviously my passion. I love looking after myself and what it does for your mental headspace, because I suffered a lot of anxiety over the years, and actually what that did, so that was a huge part, fitness, exercise, going out for nice long walks.
Yeah.
You know, I used to have a dog, so walking the dog, you know, and I love spending time with loved ones, like friends and family, socializing. Me and my partner have a lot in common, and it's just so nice. Just I'm very adventurous, like, you know, rock climbing, ice skating, skiing, bowling, just cool. Things like that. I'm a big skier. I love skiing.
Really? I've never skied before. I would love to do it though.
I can't do sports and involve balls, so the older eyeball coordination.
I'm the opposite. I can only do sports and involve ball. Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, that's sorry guys, that's really stupid there. But I'm not great. I'm trying to learn tennis.
Yeah, I remember you saying it's quite funny you said that. And I was like, I'm actually trying to do paddle of all things. I still play football now as a hobby because I love it, but I'm trying to take up paddle, which is an interesting.
I mean, part of me is thinking I should stick to what I know, but you know, got to give anything.
It's fun to try new things though, isn't it? So
100%.
Skiing's a big one.
Skiing, I love horse riding. I'm just very much an active person. I love doing things and being adventurous, and I love spending time with loved ones. I used to love going out on a night out drinking, but actually since I've got into this fitness lifestyle, I've found new things that make me happy where I don't ruin my one day of a week with a hangover. I don't feel groggy. I don't feel overwhelmed or anxious about anything because I've had so much to drink. I actually love that healthy lifestyle. Absolutely. And just, you know, I love being in my own space. Recently moved and it's so homely and cozy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I just
the
wholesome things in life.
I remember you saying earlier that you and your partner had like the like closet bookcase thing, and your partner's got his like titles in there. You've got your like
it's a competition now, like who can get the most in there, and he's
it's a nice healthy competition. But that's quite nice though, like just finding things. So let's say for instance you was to go on a date now with your partner and you're going out to a restaurant. What are you ordering? Like this restaurant, it's a brilliant restaurant. The menu's endless. You can anything you want. What you getting?
Oh my God, I'm going to sound so basic. I'm here for a pizza.
Yeah, okay. What pizza? What toppings?
Oh, a meaty one.
If you say margarita, we'll end this right now.
Okay.
Or pineapple,
my Nando's order is plain. Don't judge me.
Plain?
Yeah.
Done. Off. Close it down.
Why does everyone judge
it? That's outrageous.
I know. Do you know what? I get so much beef for that.
To be fair, I'm drinking sparkling water. I can't really say
honestly,
much.
I'm fully judging you.
Okay,
for that.
We'll go Nando's order, then we'll close it off.
Yeah, Nando's order. I'm a plain girl, but I love halloumi in my Nando's order. That's
okay,
spiced up.
Yeah, well, if you say so. I think it tastes like rubber a bit, to be honest, but.
But yeah, no. Do you know what? I love Italian food. I love all cuisines, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Nando's order.
Nando's order. Oh, fino pita. With halloumi in, garlic bread with extra halloumi on top.
Okay, yeah.
And peri salt chips, all the carbs.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm a half chicken medium, double peri chips, mac and cheese.
Oh my God, the new mac and cheese, add that as well. Maybe take the chips out.
It's only good, I've realised, it does my nuts in, it's only good in the restaurant. Sometimes if you order it, and it's like...
Do you live far away from the shop? Do you get cold?
I deliver it all the time. And the thing is, I live like quite far out of where delivery goes to.
That would be why it's cold.
It is, but then you got to do premium delivery, otherwise you're getting 94 stops before it comes to you. And you might as well
That's not coming for 45 minutes.
Grab a fucking chicken from the farm and eat it raw. So... when it still comes, it's not as nice. If you eat in store, it's unreal. But sometimes I feel like I've got to substitute the mac and cheese for a garlic bread if I'm getting delivery.
Mac and cheese is so good. So basically, what we've learned here is I like bread and cheese.
Yeah. And for those in the States that are listening, because there's a lot of our members from the States, you might not know what Nando's is. You are missing out, but it's a lovely Portuguese cuisine, and if you ever come to London, we'll take you there. Yeah. It'll be our treat. If any of our American clients come to London, we'll take you to Nando's. But listen, thank you so much for your time. For anyone who's listening to this podcast and would like to learn a little bit more how, you know, us and our team over at Smart Body Performance can help you with your transformation journey, then please do just shoot us over a message, either our Instagram at Reece Hallard, RECHALLARD, and just say the word podcast, and I know what you mean. And we can chat about your transformation journey as well. And for those listening, Ellie, where can they find out a little bit more about yourself too?
You can follow me on my Instagram page at Ellie Wilkinson, ELLIEWILKINSON.
Well, I hope so. It's your second name. Don't ask me how you spell your second name. But yeah, so if there is anything at all that you guys just want advice on, you would like to ask some questions, or of course, if you would like to, learn a little bit more about how you can work with us, it'd be an absolute pleasure just to have a conversation with you. But for the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.